Hey, Deviants.
Thank you for tuning in to We Say Weird Shit. Hello, Deviants, and welcome to We Say Weird Shit. I'm your one of two hosts. My name is Dave.
I'm Liz.
And today we have Rocko Paolo with us. How you doing today, bud?
Great. How are you guys doing?
Excellent, excellent. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a songwriter as well as a screenwriter and also an author. So I've pretty much dabble in everything to do with the arts. You pretty much have to kind of be a jack of all trades if you want to get things done. So that's pretty much what I do is both in music as well as for film.
Oh, okay. I can relate with that. I'm actually a musician, and I do podcasting on the side. And at night, I'm a stripper.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So how long have you been doing music for?
A few decades now. I started, when I was 16, I picked up a guitar, and as soon as I picked it up, I started writing songs instead of like learning other people's songs. So I started learning obviously a couple of tracks from other artists, and then I started writing and started hitting the studio around the age of 18, doing demos and stuff like that. And then I got into rap for some odd reason. There was a studio that was kind of looking for a rapper, and I was just having fun with it, just going from club to club, doing some rap stuff. And next thing you know, I was recording for like the Eurodance type recordings back in the 90s. So that was a lot of fun, actually.
That sounds
nice.
like a lot of fun.
And we have, so with like doing, earlier on in life when you were doing like the self-taught musician, have you ever taken any lessons like for anything?
Yeah, I mean, I did start taking some guitar lessons at the very beginning, probably for maybe 2 months or so. And then after that, once I pretty much had a grasp of the basic chords, your majors and your minors, then it just became a question of just writing. So I was writing, and then when I was in the studio working with other musicians as well as a sound engineer who was a musician himself, they kind of taught me a bunch of ways to make the changes here and there. So it became like kind of learning process as you were going along.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I respect somebody who's self-taught more than I do somebody who like goes to college for like, playing guitar. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think that if you learn music theory in general, it's almost like you have walls around you, and like you can't go past those walls. There's no door. There's nothing. I mean, yeah, you play well, but you're confined within a certain key. If you're playing a certain key, like for example, myself, every song that I write, I'm in like 3 different keys. I just can't get away from it. I love the change in key, sound. Would you say that you do any of that?
I have done that. I pretty much I've done songs in different genres as well, so I'm very prolific in that aspect. So I've done hip hop, I've done hard rock, I've done blues, I've done pop. So I kind of like go all over the place, which in the beginning obviously was a big issue with a lot of the record companies. They were like, sorry, bud. And that's why I kind of like today's world where I can just do what I want. Right now I work basically with 3 main monikers. One that does kind of blues, the other one that's kind of pop country, and then the other one is kind of like a mix of, could be hip hop. So I try to diversify, but now I do it under 3 different names mostly, so that it, if they say, well, you got to categorize your music. Okay, well, I trying to by creating 3 different personalities.
Right. And what would you say is your favorite genre to play?
For me, it definitely would be blues. Blues is
Blues?
because what I like about blues is when I would perform live is like I'm doing covers, but a lot of people don't know these songs. I would pick obscure blues songs as well. So it would feel original to me. Plus you do your own take on it.
Right.
So you don't have to perform it like a top 40 band. You do, if I'm taking, a BB King song and just basically changing it completely, or having a song that's usually a slow song and speeding it up, just having fun with that. And I've also done, a lot of Elvis Presley stuff. Even I've gone as far as actually donning the 70s outfit and doing that for, special occasions. It's at first I wasn't keen on doing that, but it's actually, amazing in the sense that, as soon as you walk in the room, even if there's 4 people in the room, the energy is incredible, right? I go, when I'm in a bar, with my band and we're just performing in front of even 50 people, I don't get the same energy as in the jumpsuit walking into a room. Like everybody goes crazy. So it's a great feeling for sure. So
absolutely.
Kind of gives you that bravado.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like in life, I'm not one to be around people myself. Like I don't like to surround myself with a lot of people all at once. I hate going to the supermarket for that very reason. But when you're on stage, it's a whole different feeling because I guess the attention's on you, and how about yourself? Do you have those same kind of like, qualities as far as like being out in public around people, or are you more of a people person?
I'm a people person, but it took a long time to get there. So starting off, I was very, very shy, difficulty being around other people. And then as soon as, like you said, going on stage, it would be night and day. Like I'd be a completely different person. I'm all over the stage going crazy, and then get off the stage and you're back to being a little hermit on the side, right? Yeah. But I started realizing that I force myself at times to be more social because I know that it's very important to do so, like to go around, doing the whole smiley thing, shaking hands, doing the whole politician shaking hand thing. And over time, it becomes natural. And so now I try to walk into a room and I try to suss it out. But just to give you an example, even after all the years of doing that, like I said, when I started doing film, at one point I was at a film festival in my hometown. For me, it was a dream come true. Here I am, getting to be in front of the screen, presenting my short film. And we would have these happy hour every day. And it was just like all other filmmakers and stuff. And I didn't know anybody. And I would just kind of sit in the corner and not really have any conversations with anybody. And then this one guy just came over and he was loud and fun. And he just basically took me out of my shell, started introducing me to everybody. And then the party began. So I guess because it was a different medium. And plus I didn't have a stage really. Right. So it's like I'm at this film festival. I'm at this happy hour where it's the time to schmooze and to mingle with everybody. And I wasn't doing it. I was like, I don't know what to say. I don't know who to talk to. Like, what do you say? Like, hey, I made a movie. Everybody else made a movie too. So like, what do you say? What do you do? Like, what's the line you're going to use? And this guy was really, he really, took me out of my shell. And so I appreciate that. So now I go to certain little filmmaker gatherings and try to be a little bit more present and just, asking people what they do, what they're here for, and just start the conversation rolling.
Yeah. I like that. So go ahead, babe.
Go ahead. Oh, no, I was just going to ask what kind of films you make.
Again, it's kind of I'm all over the map, but I have a film that we just did right now. So basically, yeah, for genres, I've done drama, I've done, thriller, I've done, and they're all zero budget films. And so basically we're talking $0. So I just did one in January. I decided, you know what, I want to do a feature film again, zero budget. How am I going to pull this off? So I had to, of course, write a script that I knew would be able to be done. So like no action sequences, no special effects and makeup and all this kind of stuff. So I wrote something that was quite simple because at the same time I said, I want to shoot this in 2 to 3 days. So feature length film, I figure between 70 and 80 minutes over a 2-day period. So it has to be very few locations. So I ended up shooting at my house. I got a bunch of actors to come in. So I had 6 actors. We would do these readings sort of like we're doing right now on a Zoom call. And then the day before the shoot, one of them just quit. So I was like, now I'm down to 5. What do we do? Because at this point, we've learned most of the lines, very important lines. So we had to kind of scramble, and we made it work because right now I've sent it to the film festivals. And it's already been picked up by 3, and we won at 2 of them so far. So it's I'm quite pleased with the outcome. The cast was amazing. My crew was great. I had a crew of 2, and so there was like nothing to do with lighting or makeup. It was really like, let's try and shoot as much footage as we can in 2 days' time.
That's wonderful. So you're a filmmaker as well as a musician. Do you act at all? Like, do you do?
Yes, I
like
do.
Okay. I did watch a few of your videos on YouTube. I noticed I noticed that it was the budget, the 0 budget. I could see it in the video, but it's professionally done. I kind of like that, So, what kind of was it like? More practice that got you into that professionalism of video, videotape? Well, videotaping, but basically recording, your own stuff. Was that like, the professionalism behind it? Did that take like practice, or did you get pointers from people and just kind of, apply them?
I've had a video camera since high school. So we're talking, several decades ago. And so I've always been, videotaping just about everything I could, right? So I learned on the fly. I do have a couple of friends that are photographers, so I would hang out with them as well, help them out at times, be their assistant. So, and then of course I've taken a few courses, as well as one particular school where I took a course on directing. So and I also try to get pointers now, obviously, by watching YouTube and things of that nature. But I've always had a keen eye for framing. So the way images should be framed. And that's just something that's come naturally. I still do a lot of that. Even my photos, like I'll be somewhere and somebody's like, "What are you taking a picture of?" Like there's like nothing there. Like and there's a pole and a can. Like what are you taking a picture? And then they see the picture and like, "Oh my God, the angle you took it at," and all of a sudden it looks like a really cool image. But looking at it visually in front of you is like, what is there? Right. And I just imagine it right away. So I've got a very creative way of thinking. And that, I guess, probably has a lot to do with the fact that I'm left-handed. Right. I try to put on that. So I just always been creative, even as a young child. So I've always kind of didn't really, like my family there's nobody in my family, immediate family, that has done anything with acting or anything to do creative. So I don't know where I got it from, but I just always had an interest for that kind of stuff.
Right on. And, I've tried the whole framing thing. It doesn't work for me. Like, do you remember back in the day when, like, you had to take a picture at an angle to make yourself skinnier? Never happened. I've always been fat. Gotta
wear black. You gotta wear black. Black is the thinning. And then there's different ways to shoot it for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And but yeah, I've always been a fan. I don't know. I make black look fat too. It's all good though. I mean,
I'm surprised you didn't invent the selfie stick as far as you hold the phone out when you're taking a picture.
Oh, I know. It's amazing, isn't it? Like, I'm just like,
well, back before the whole camera thing, I mean, I would always take a broom handle, right, and just have the camera I had a small little camera in the corner, and I would just try really hard to tap it with my with my broom because I didn't have a timer or anything on it.
So in essence, you did create the selfie stick. I mean, right? I think you should petition for some sort of credit on that. So it also says here that you're an author as well.
Yeah. So,
Are you?
I've written 3 books.
Oh, 3 books. That was actually going to be the question I was going to ask, is if you were a published author.
Yeah. So there's 3 books, again, all over the map. So one's a children's book called The Wasp Who Thought She Was a Bee. So it's basically about, accepting yourself for who you are. Then I did a travel book, which is, again, this one's a true story. So it's called Gallivanting Through Europe with Young Children. Because we had like a toddler and a baby, and we were talking about, okay, we're going to go to Italy and Greece, and people were like saying, are you nuts? Are you nuts? So by day 2, I realized maybe they were right. So I started seeing strange things were going on, a lot of funny stuff. So I started writing it down like a diary, and that became a book. So it was like,
oh, nice.
So instead of chapters, it's day 1, day 2, day 3, all the way till I think day 21 or something. So that's that book. And then the 3rd book is one that deals with more strange, but obviously also still true story. It's called The Damu Chronicles, Emails with a Sumerian God. And the first thing people will say is, well, how is it true? There's a Sumerian God and there's emails from that Sumerian God. This is bullshit. And the thing is that what it was is this happened again many, many years ago. It didn't happen to me. It happened to somebody that I knew. So this was a coworker, and we would always have these conversations, conspiracy theories. We were all into that kind of stuff, talking about aliens, talking about that. Then we went our separate ways, still in the same company, but we switched departments. So we didn't see each other for a while. Then he contacts me saying, hey, Rocko, funny email you sent me. And I said, what are you talking about? What email are you talking about? He goes, come on, it has to be you. Like, nobody else would have sent me this email. It's about kind of stuff that we talk about. I said, can you forward it to me? I want to see this email. So he forwards it to me. It's a long rant email, basically just telling my friend, stop. Everything you're saying is BS. You don't know what you're talking about, on and on. And I said, okay, you know what? I like what's, this person's writing. Can you keep the communication going? And my friend didn't want to. He's saying, I know it's you. Stop it. But then he eventually started, doing the communications back and forth. And the information was really interesting. It was a very original kind of ideas of the origins of mankind, alien races, and stuff that I did not come across at that time. So it was a new viewpoint of the way things are.
Yeah.
So more people got involved because, of course, I started printing all these emails. I left them on my desk. Coworkers were picking them up, and everybody's like saying, "What is this stuff?" They're all excited about it, wanted more stuff. So everybody started asking questions to this entity or person we don't know, and it started going back and forth like that. So that's how the book came about, because then the person did come out and indicate they were Damu and they were Sumerian god. And at the time, because this was the early years of the internet, when I looked up Damu, I couldn't find anything. I was like, I don't know. There's no Sumerian god called Damu, but if you check now, you'll see Damu is the vegetarian god. So I was like, okay, well, it seems legit, at least on that part. This person came up with an actual god that I can find today, and it was just a very, very interesting 6 months or so of just this whole ordeal. It was really cool. I found in the end.
I fucking love that there's a god for vegetarians. I'm fucking dying out.
No vegan one though, right? There's no vegan.
No, there's no vegan one.
Fine. You still can have your eggs. You're fine. So.
I think if there was a vegan god, you would get sick of him really quick. It would be like every 7 minutes you would hear, "Hey, did you know I'm vegan?"
Yeah, because vegans are what used to be the person who just quit smoking, right? Because the person who quit smoking is always the most loud non-smoker in the room, right?
Oh,
so, like,
yeah.
and now the vegans have taken that role.
Oh, absolutely. And damn the vegan or the vegetarian god.
Well, not a vegetarian; it's a vegetation god, right? So,
Oh, vegetation. I thought you said vegetarian.
yeah.
That's why I lost it.
No, he's about agriculture and
I'm
stuff,
done.
I would imagine.
I'm done with life.
Growing your crops. I mean, basically, the stuff that you put on your meat, that's what Damu was taking care of. So.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Stuff my meat eats. Yeah. So, basically, you just kind of write what's in your world. Like you write what's it's inspired by what's happening now. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, like the next two books that I'm writing, one is going to be just a bunch of short stories. Again, a lot of the short stories are, well, I would say all of them are true. And then the other one after that is going to be about my music years. So it goes from when I started music, all the bands or even some of these, celebrity people that I've met through the years. So just, I'm going to put that together, just kind of, so I can keep a kind of like a catalog of sorts for myself more so than anybody else. And so
that is pretty awesome. And where could our listeners pick up your books at?
The books are available on Amazon mainly. Obviously, you're going to find them on Barnes & Noble, Apple, and some of the other big ones. And it's available in ebook format as well as physical copies. So you're able to get, because they're all print on demand at this point. And yeah,
Liz just sent me a copy of one of your books just now. She just sent it to me.
Cool.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up that Damu book.
Yeah.
I definitely
He's not a
want to check that out.
vegetarian, honey.
Not a vegetarian.
Damn it! I was really hoping, man. My fingers were crossed. But I mean, like Greek gods, they fucking had a fucking god for everything. Like there was a flatulation god. There was a,
well, I mean, to a certain degree, even if you look at in today's world, where people are saying, well, there's one God. I mean, yes and no, because if you look at even if there's a Trinity in the Catholic, right? So there's God, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus, and then there's like a bunch of saints, and then the Virgin Mary, and so there's a long list of technical other gods or demigods, or So even though they will say no, it's just one God, it's like no. When you go to the Vatican, which I was just there this summer, there's like tons of statues all around the outside, right, of different saints and stuff, and basically they're all treated as gods. So,
when you were at the Vatican, did you try to sneak into the cellar?
I've been in what we call the basement, or I guess where they keep some of the coffins and stuff. I've been there years ago, but no. I guess there's certain areas that you're not allowed. But I don't know if you saw, there's a short film I just did recently where I play an archbishop, and it's in Italian, and that was a lot of fun. So it's the true story of, I guess, this guy named Roberto. He was a banker, and he was supposedly committed suicide, but chances are he was killed by either the mafia or by the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And so it's a very short film, just basically showing how it could have possibly been. And it was really neat wearing the full gear and stuff. It was really,
I'm sure.
Really cool. Yeah,
I'm
really
sure.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm interested in this forbidden spots. You hear about them documents they have in there. I just kind of want to take a gander. I wouldn't be able to read it. I have no idea what the fuck they're going to say. I'll just be like, huh. Now that looks like a fucking official document. And then that would be it. That would be the end of it.
Well, I mean, you're not even allowed in the Vatican City.
Yeah. I was going to say,
Yeah.
they do say that the Vatican has like the largest collection of pornography. So, you don't need to read that.
Oh no, you definitely don't. But if I get pornography, it's solely for the articles, babe.
It's always been the articles. Always.
Yeah.
It's always about the articles.
Yeah, it's always the articles. Why do you think they fucking came up with what was that Hustler thing? It was like these little mini magazines that they used to come out with. I don't remember the fucking name of them, but yeah, it was basically it was just all stories. There's no pictures. Like that took a fucking fly. Like, yeah, if it's all about the articles, bro, that went downhill quick.
And we know that now with the internet, all the porn sites are out there. It's all about the pop-up ads, right?
You're right. And see, my thing is like I thought about starting an OnlyFans myself to showcase my feet because I do have some pretty feet. Remember, we do say weird shit. You got to keep that in mind. But with all the porn that's out there on the internet right now for free, I don't think I would make any money. And I do have some fucking class A feet. Just saying.
Yes, you floss between the toes.
That's right. I do it with both my digits. So I got to know, would you be willing to perform a song for us before you head out today?
A song.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. You got an acoustic around somewhere, right?
Do I?
Oh, look, there it is.
Do I? I'm not sure I do, but
yeah. I mean, I personally wouldn't mind it.
I could play one of my simpler ones. Let's see if it's even in tune, but
I believe in you, kid. You got this.
I open my eyes and I hope I can see things clearer. And I try to hide, hoping I could make things better. Because I know the feeling's there, yeah, deep inside I cry for love. And I try to let you know, yeah, 'cause I never ever reach the line. 'Cause I know. There we go. I saw you doing a little.
That was beautiful.
Thank you very much.
That was beautiful. I dig it. So, going back to your music, I kind of want to pick your brain a little bit about how your writing process starts with writing a song. I know everybody's a little bit differently, but I'd like to hear yours.
It's all depending. Like if I'm most of the time, I'll either pick up a guitar or sit at a piano and just start playing around, and then a melody will come into play while I'm working on different chords, and then after that the lyrics come out. So I find the songs. I find myself more of a channeler. Like I don't sit there and say I gotta write. It just kind of I get inspired. A lot of times it could be just from a song that I've heard on the radio where I'm just, oh man, I wish I wrote that song. What a great song. And I sit on the piano, I write a song. It doesn't sound anything like that, but at least that was in my head when I was sitting at the piano or on the guitar. So that's that. But obviously when I'm doing film, like for the dinner party, which is the film that the 70-minute film that I just did, that's more soundtrack like. So I have to try and write. That one's more technical in the sense that I have to look at the clip and figure out, well, what's the best music to kind of be underneath that particular scene? You know, is it a tension moment? Right. Is it, you know, so that's a different process.
Yeah, it's a bit more situational when it comes to film audio. But the way I write my songs is almost identical. Sometimes I'll hear something that inspires me on the radio. Here, this is one I like to call "Every Rose Has Its Thorn." Oh, we can.
Oh. Well, you know, you can have the same titles. You know, if I write a song called "I Want to Hold Your Hand," you're allowed. It's not. You can't copyright a title.
Oh yeah, no, and I could do at least 15 seconds of my song. Every rose has its thorn.
You're gonna have to play royalties now. You realize that.
After 15 seconds, we're good for now. But yeah, no, I keep going back to the music because, you know, that's what I can relate to you with the most. But Liz, do you have any?
What do you play? What do you play, Dave? What do you play?
Little bit of everything. I mostly guitar. I play rhythm, and I sing.
Same here.
I sing for my current band right now, and actually, I'm weird. I can't sing for dick, but I prefer to sing. Does that make sense?
That's fine. I mean,
yeah.
I've always been I've had people tell me stop singing. It's usually from, you know, again, the seasoned, trained musicians versus the people that come see the show, where they'll run up to me and say, "Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing." Because, you know, a lot of the acts that are out there don't necessarily have a great voice, but they bring a lot of energy onto the scene. So, you know, I mean, but then again, look at Bob Dylan, right? I mean, you know, he's gotten awards for being best, you know, singer, right? I mean,
right.
He's a great storyteller, but
he's a hell of a storyteller.
Don't tell me he's a great singer. Yeah, he's a hell of a storyteller, but don't, you know, him, Leonard Cohen, it's not like these are people that should really be behind a microphone, but look, it's worked out great for them, right? So who's to say?
It's funny that you mentioned that. So Bob Dylan is Liz's favorite musician. And
I torture him with Leonard Cohen all the time.
And she tortures me with Leonard Cohen. There is literally not a day that I listen to a fucking Famous Blue Raincoat that I don't want to fucking slit my own throat.
Well, I mean, Leonard Cohen, you know, has the title of the most depressing song ever written, right? With Hallelujah. That's that's like on most lists of the most depressing song ever written.
My God. And it's funny how people take that song out of context.
Yeah.
Like it's
funny that it was
song.
So big in Shrek?
Yeah, it was big in Shrek.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know that kids movie, Shrek?
Yeah.
No wonder all these fucking kids now are all fucked up. They got exposed. Well, they got exposed to a Leonard Cohen song, and that wasn't Leonard Cohen singing it. But yeah, they're all fucked up now.
A lot of it has to do with his voice too. It's like so just.
It's droll.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, was a secret chord.
That's the thing, right? So I'm sure they've been told probably like crazy, at least in the beginning of their careers, like don't bother, right? I mean, it's almost a given that they were probably told that, like, have somebody else sing your songs, and they have had other people sing their songs. I mean, you know, we're talking about, you know, Jimi Hendrix and, you know, even Guns N' Roses for Bob Dylan, that, you know, kind of showed what it sounds like when there's actually, you know, a melody behind the lyrics. But yeah, so I mean, but there's nothing to say. Like there's great singers out there for sure. And today, obviously, there's only auto-tune singers out there. So they're kind of like,
oh my God,
you know, they're just kind of like showing the fact of the matter. You know, Drake being one, for example, who, you know, it's like, I'm a rapper, but I sing too. It's like, yeah, but you don't sing live really, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, you can auto-tune all day long. I mean, I sound great with auto-tune. But Jesus Christ, they turn that knob all the way up, don't they? They just fucking do it, and it just sounds like a fucking computer.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, because sometimes I think one of the main reasons they turn it all the way up because that's how far off they are from the actual note.
right, right. Yeah, they take that threshold and they put it all the way up, and then they put the sensitivity all the way down. Oh man. And yeah, it's and the end result is basically a T-Pain song.
But you know what's really weird is because I mean, you know, like for example, if I think Post Malone, auto-tuned to the max. But did you see him doing tracks by like Nirvana and stuff where he's like
that guy actually has a voice,
and I was just but he doesn't seem like he can sing the songs he's famous for,
right?
But I was like, I was really impressed. I was like, yeah, he's got, you know, he's got the energy, and the energy, like I said, is for me is in the emotion are two of the first things that I look for in a performance, more so than the ability to sing. Because, you know, for example, if I think, you know, Jennifer Hudson, she can really sing, but I find that what she does, she doesn't do the subtleness. You know, like all her songs are her screaming away. Like she can hit those notes, and she just does it 24/7, and sometimes it's like, whoa, like just, you can be, you know, like take it back a bit. This is a ballad. You don't have to start belting it out from the first note.
Right.
You know, and that's what I'd like to see from somebody like her is just like, we know you can sing. There's no doubt about it. Now let's see you just whisper. And I'm curious to hear you whisper.
And it's funny because like Liz and I, you know, we're 40 years old. We're prodigies of, or I'm sorry, we're children of the 90s. You know, like when we were growing up, grunge was getting, you know, was big, and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, and then like, but that gave birth to like new metal and, you know, all these other things, and you know, so that's pretty much what we were like exposed to growing up was that like that raspy, you know. But when Post Malone came out, her and I would always like, man, that guy looks homeless. Like, man, like he is dirty as fuck. Like he's the kind of guy that you would like expect to see living outside of his mother's house.
You can smell him through the computer or the phone or whatever.
Yeah, but then I think back to when we were kids, and then to look at Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
With that long stringy hair, you know, and you know, like he wore jeans that he wore when he was a teenager. You know, he was very modest in what he you know, he never bought new clothes, and if he did, it was for a photo shoot, and that was it. You know, he was just like the guy that everybody would say, man, that guy looks homeless. So I mean, you know, it kind of shows you with the generational thing. Once you get older, you just kind of hate on all the new stuff that came out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I've been noticing more and more lately that I'm getting into more and more music recently, like stuff that's been put out within the last 5 years, you know, based upon whether or not the person actually can show they have talent. Like Liz and I, we're pretty outspoken on our podcast. We actually listen to a rapper. His name's Prof. He's pretty underknown, but he's getting bigger. And he doesn't just rap, but he actually has a voice, you know? And I found more and more that we're starting to get into this, and I hate to like some of these people. Now, what you being in the industry and everything like that, is that something you can relate with, or do you just kind of keep an open mind when you walk into the studio?
Yeah, I try to keep an open mind, but like, you know, talking about what you were just saying, for example, I mean, when Justin Bieber came onto the scene, I was like, what is this? Like, you know, is this,
I think the world was like whatever.
That. But then I saw him behind a drum set. I saw him playing guitar. I heard him sing a cappella, and I was like, you know what? This guy actually has talent. I have to give him that. I mean, I can hate on him all I want, but he actually is a musician. You know, I you know, so it's like, yes, you can, you know, just because he had that, you know, pretty boy, he was, you know, he was discovered by Usher and all that stuff. that people are
Wasn't he
just
like
like
13 when he was discovered?
something like that. You know, he was doing covers on
Yeah.
YouTube, and it was Usher and I think Akon who, you know, kind of fight over who discovered Justin Bieber, and he was obviously, like with most artists even today, kind of groomed to be what, he became. And but at the same time, like I said, when I saw him actually playing instruments and just singing, same thing with Justin Timberlake. When I saw him, I went to see him live, and he had like, a whole Memphis, like older generation band behind him of amazing musicians, and he was playing guitar and he was, singing away. And I was, I get more respect. Harry Styles, same thing. I think that he's one to watch out for. He's got, longevity. His songs are very catchy, but at the same time, I find that today, rock and roll, you can't even find it anymore. Like, it doesn't exist. Like, there's no hard rock group out there that's on the charts or on the radio anymore. And at least with Harry Styles, I see him hanging out with Stevie Nicks and stuff like that. So he's the new rock and roll, I guess you can call it, heading in that direction. He's had a couple of tracks that kind of, verge on there, but it's hard to find a song with a guitar anymore, I find.
Oh man, look on Spotify or Apple
Spotify.
Music.
Yeah, for sure. You have to go out and look for it. But I'm just saying, if you're looking at a Billboard chart, you're looking at these award shows.
Oh yeah.
What's being commercially put out there? There's no Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is putting Jay-Z and people, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because there's no more rock and roll per se. Like there is, like you said, you have to go out and search for it. But if the radio stations aren't playing it, and and the TV award shows aren't promoting it, then the average person is not hearing it.
Right. Yeah. And like I've also noticed that I've actually myself, and look, again, 40 years old, not really looking to make it big, but I've kind of found myself learning with the times. Like, for example, I've learned how to use a production software like FL Studio and stuff like that, so I can produce some more electronic music and whatnot. And I've produced some electronic music. It's not as fun as actually sitting down with a guitar and actually writing a song, because I wouldn't say that there's less involved, because it's very intricate. You have to kind of figure out what note sounds good with other notes. It could take hours, it could take days, it could take weeks to create a song, whereas with a guitar, you sit down and you just play chords until stuff just starts to click.
Yeah.
And I'm like you, I'll sit down and I'll play a melody. And what I might do, I have a song called Time to Pass. And Liz and I actually wrote that together. And we sat in our apartment for 10 hours straight listening to the melody that I wrote over and over and over again, while let me tell you, she is the most distracted person I think I've ever met in my life. Where she's like, I want to write a song with you. And I'm like, great, this is the feeling I have for this song. And we need to put words to that feeling. And we're sitting there on Easter. It was 2 years ago on Easter. And she was like, I'm going to take a nap. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of the first verse. What do you can't nap on this shit. Let's do it, And I don't know. I just find so much more reward in that, Have you ever sat down with a DAW, like FL Studio, not necessarily like, the ones that you just straight up record on, but like FL, where you will point and click until stuff just starts to make sense?
Yes. And to tell you the truth, I've kind of gotten more respect for people that work with samples. In the last, let's say 3 or 4 years, I've actually done a few songs where it's just all samples, and it's a lot of work. It's very time consuming. You got to find, like you said, you got to find the right note to go with this, or it's a lot of work. So at the same time, it's a cut and paste. Yes, it's completely different, and and in the end, I'm like, well, I just written a song that I would never have written before, because I would never have come up with this. Like you said,
the
guitar. So It's different. Do I think it's less of for me, yes, because I can't pick up the guitar and do so, but I don't knock it like I probably would have done in the past.
Right. I found a respect for it too. I just find more reward in sitting down with a guitar.
Totally agree.
And our theme music is actually made out of samples. I do samples for our themes. Even the Memoirs of a Modern Marriage, I did the samples for that and everything. And it can be easier, but it also can be very time consuming.
Yeah.
But we are almost at our 45-minute mark. So what I would like to do is just let you have the stage. Let us know what you have coming up. And tell everybody where they can find you, whether it's, social media or, Amazon or whatever, whatever you got going on for you. It's your stage.
Perfect. Thank you. So I have the soundtrack coming out for the dinner party film. I'm putting it out as 2 different LPs because they're under 2 of my monikers. One under Paulo I, the other one's under West of West. So one's called the Dinner Party Soundtrack 1, the other one's Dinner Party Soundtrack 2. So there's 4 tracks on each. So that's the next thing. And then after that, there's a song I did earlier this year called Doing Dishes, which is a country blues song. And I liked the melody. I also liked the music behind it. And I felt that at the same time I was singing Doing Dishes, I was also singing Merry Christmas. So I will turn it into a Christmas song. And change the lyrics, because I can steal off myself, right? People say, well, that's the same melody, same music. Yeah, well, it's the same guy.
Right?
So I'm not stealing.
Absolutely.
And as far as where you can find me, yeah, exactly. Just, and plus there's only 12 notes, in music, right? So you're no matter what, you're borrowing. Finding me is on facebook.com/ROCKOPAOLOI. So Rocko Paolo I. And that's my Rocko Paolo. And it's Rocko Paolo Entertainer, because at the same time, since I said dabble in about everything, I was like, well, do I put author? Do I put director? It's kind of hard to figure out what I am. So I'm like, well, I do a bit of everything. I can, I rap, I sing, I act, I do, basically try to do everything under the entertainment umbrella.
Well, that's wonderful. And I will instruct all of our guests to go check out Rocko Paolo. And Rocko, I would like to have you on in a few months again. Catch up with you, see how you're doing.
Thanks,
yeah, and I would like you to stay in touch with me, because we might need to do some work in the future.
Great.
All right, and from us here at We Say Weird Shit, I'm Dave.
And I'm Liz.
And we will see you next time.
See ya.